Why you're still broke, even though you work hard. Let's be honest. You're not lazy. You're not stupid. You're not irresponsible. In fact, you've done what society told you. Go to school, get a job, work hard, pay your bills, try to save what's left, repeat. And yet, here you are, still broke. No matter how hard you try, how many hours you put in, or how many side hustles you've attempted, your bank balance never seems to catch up with your effort. You're not alone. This is not a failure of character. This is a failure of conditioning, a failure of what you were never taught and what you were always expected to just figure out. The harsh truth most won't tell you. The world is full of broke people who work hard. The world is full of broke people who are kind, generous, and talented. The world is full of broke people who are doing everything right and still can't breathe financially. So let's be clear. Hard work is not enough. Good intentions are not enough. Blind faith in the system is not enough. Because the system was not designed to make you rich. It was designed to keep you functioning, not thriving. The cycle you've been stuck in. You work, you earn, you pay, you survive, you repeat. And deep down you believe that someday things will magically get better. But someday never comes. Why? Because you're stuck in a loop, a hidden cycle, one so common, so widespread that almost no one questions it. It's a mental trap, not just a financial one. And until you see it clearly, until you name it, you'll keep living the same financial year over and over again. A lesson from the ancient world. In ancient Babylon, the richest man in the city, Arcad, once said, "A part of all you earn is yours to keep." Simple, right? And yet today, most people keep nothing. Worse, they owe more than they earn. They don't own their time. They don't own their peace. They don't own their choices. Because they never learned the rules of wealth. Not in school, not at home, not from media, not even from their mentors. They were handed debt, not discipline. Bills, not blueprints. Regret, not results. Why this video matters. This video is not about blaming you. It's not about making you feel bad. It's about waking you up. Because once you understand why you're broke, you'll finally have the power to change it. Not with luck, not with crypto, not with some magic app, but with clarity, courage, and choices. What you were never taught. Most people don't realize money is more psychological than mathematical. Poverty is a mindset before it's a bank balance. Wealth is a skill before it's an amount. And staying broke isn't always the result of bad luck. It's often the result of bad patterns repeated unconsciously. Patterns like spending emotionally, living to impress, avoiding hard conversations, procrastinating decisions, hoping instead of planning, choosing comfort over change. If you don't break those patterns, you don't break the cycle. It's that simple and that hard. Most people don't need more money. They need more awareness. Give a financially unprepared person $1 million, and they'll be broke again in 2 years. Why? Because the real problem wasn't the income. It was the internal programming. You don't rise to the level of your dreams. You fall to the level of your discipline, your decisions, your habits. And if your foundation is broken, everything built on it will crumble. The real cost of staying broke. Let's be clear. Being broke is not just uncomfortable, it's dangerous. It limits your choices. It keeps you in toxic jobs and toxic relationships. It forces you to say yes when you want to say no. It makes you a hostage to payday, to credit cards, to fear. You can't be your best self when you're financially drowning. You can't be generous when you can barely survive. And you can't be free when money owns your every decision. Money isn't everything, but not having it controls everything. That's the brutal paradox. What this video will give you. In this video, you'll discover the 10 hidden reasons you're still broke, even if you work hard. The toxic beliefs keeping you in a financial cage. The emotional triggers that lead you to spend what you don't have. The cycle of self-sabotage and how to break it. And most importantly, how to rebuild your financial life with clarity and courage. This isn't financial fluff. This is truth therapy. It's going to sting. It's going to challenge you. It might even make you mad. But if you stay, if you listen with your whole heart, you'll walk away with more than information. You'll walk away with transformation. A final question before we begin. What if the only thing standing between you and the wealth you deserve is you? Let's find out. The silent drain. Where did it all go? It's not that you don't earn enough. You look at your bank account and wonder, how is it possible to make $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 a month and still feel broke? You do the math in your head. You remember your paycheck. You remember what you bought. And still, you can't explain where it all went. It's like money disappears, evaporates, vanishes between your fingers. And that's because it does. Welcome to the silent drain. The money leak you don't see. Here's what most people don't realize. You're not being robbed at gunpoint. You're not losing money in one big moment. You're losing money in silence, in routine, and in habits you don't even question. It's death by 1,000 swipes. $4 coffee every morning. $19 streaming subscription you forgot about. $8 delivery fee because you didn't feel like cooking. $60 impulsive shopping just to feel better. $35 overdraft charge because you didn't check the app. $120 night out you deserved after a long week. $12 app upgrade you'll never use. Individually, nothing. Collectively, a flood. You can't fix what you don't track. The number one reason most people stay broke isn't income, it's invisibility. They don't track, they don't know, they don't look. Because looking is painful. Tracking feels tedious. Seeing the truth means facing change. And so, they ignore. They tell themselves, it's not that bad. I'll do better next month. Everyone else is doing the same. It's just a coffee. Who cares? But the truth is, what you don't track, you can't change. What you don't respect will not stay. What you don't manage will manage you. I deserve it thinking. Another invisible drain? Emotional spending disguised as self-care. I've had a rough day. I deserve this. I've been so good lately. I can splurge just once. Life is short. Enjoy it. And while that sounds empowering, it's often financial self-sabotage in disguise. Yes, you deserve joy. Yes, you deserve ease. But do you deserve anxiety at 2 a.m. when your rent is late? Do you deserve to stay stuck in a job you hate because you have no buffer? Do you deserve to keep working twice as hard for half the freedom? Sometimes self-care isn't a latte. Sometimes it's saying no to yourself so your future self can say yes to life. You think you're spending less than you are. Most people underestimate their spending by 20 to 40%. It's a proven cognitive bias. We remember the big things, we forget the little ones. You remember the rent, you forget the snacks, the subscriptions, the $6 quick stops. You remember the phone bill, you forget the late fee. You remember the gym membership, you forget you haven't gone in 3 months. It's only $10 is the most dangerous sentence in personal finance because it's never only $10. It's 10 times 30 days. It's 10 times 10 purchases. It's 10 times 100 moments of not thinking. How to break the cycle. Breaking the silent drain doesn't require massive income or suffering. It requires awareness. Track every expense for 30 days, no matter how small. Use apps, notebooks, spreadsheets, whatever you'll actually stick with. Categories. Divide your spending. Fixed, like rent and bills. Flexible, like food and transport. Emotional, like wants and impulse. Invisible, like forgotten subscriptions and fees. You can't cut what you don't name. Daily check-ins, not weekly, daily. 5 minutes a day to open your account and breathe in the truth. The more often you look, the less power it has over you. This is not about deprivation. This is not about guilt. It's about respecting yourself enough to pay attention. It's about refusing to live blind. It's about choosing awareness over regret. Calabad said, "The man who does not count his coins cannot be surprised when his pouch is empty." Ask yourself, do you know how much you spent last week? Do you know how much you'll spend this week? Can you predict within $50 what your account will say 3 days from now? If not, the silent drain is still active. And you're not poor because of your job. You're poor because your money is escaping unseen. Mindset shift. You're not poor, you're unaware. The first step to wealth isn't making more, it's leaking less. Because the man who makes $2,000 and keeps $500 is wealthier than the man who makes $5,000 and keeps nothing. Wealth begins with retention, not revenue. Final thought before the next reason. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be rich. You just need to start looking. Because money respects those who pay attention. The emotional wallet. Why you spend to feel, not to solve. It wasn't about the shoes, was it? You didn't buy those shoes because you needed them. You bought them because you were bored, because you were anxious, because you felt ugly, because you had a bad day and needed to feel in control. It wasn't about the product. It was about the emotion. This is the emotional wallet, where money becomes a tool to manage feelings, not finances. And it's one of the most dangerous traps that keep you broke silently, repeatedly. Money is not just numbers, it's psychology. We like to think we're rational with money. I budget. I'm logical. I only spend when I need to. But studies in behavioral finance say otherwise. We buy to cope with loneliness. We spend to numb sadness. We upgrade to feel significant. We gift to earn love. We go out to escape. We swipe to feel in control. Your card isn't connected to your brain. It's connected to your heart. Emotional triggers that empty your wallet. Here are the most common emotional triggers that lead to self-sabotage, financial. Number 1, stress spending. Bad day at work equals I deserve something. Your brain craves dopamine, not discipline. Number 2, status spending. Scrolling social media equals I need to catch up. You confuse self-worth with net worth. Number 3, escape spending. Feeling stuck equals let's just get out of here. You mistake movement for progress. Number 4, reward spending. Finishing a task equals now I get to treat myself. You forget the goal is freedom, not sugar highs. Number 5, fear-based hoarding. You overbuy just in case, mistaking anxiety for preparedness. Your wallet is a mirror. Look at your last 5 purchases. Ask yourself, was this for my life or for my feelings? You'll be shocked how often the answer is emotion. Calabab once said, "The man who spends to satisfy his stomach will one day find his purse empty and still be hungry. What he meant is, you cannot fill emotional emptiness with financial tools. Emotional spending becomes a cycle. You feel bad, you spend to feel better, you feel guilt after spending. That guilt triggers more emotional stress. You spend again. It's not shopping, it's soothing. It's not luxury, it's self-medication. And like any addiction, it offers a high now and leaves you emptier later. The brain behind it. Emotionally driven spending is tied to the limbic system, the part of your brain that's impulsive, reactive, and fast. The more stressed you are, the more active this system becomes. Your prefrontal cortex, the logical, forward-thinking part, shuts down. In simple terms, the more emotional you are, the dumber your money decisions get. How to break the cycle? Step 1. Interrupt the pattern. Set a rule. I wait 24 hours before buying anything non-essential. This gives your logical brain time to catch up. Step 2. Track emotion, not just expense. Keep a spending journal. Log how you felt before and after each purchase. Patterns will emerge. Step 3. Find a new outlet. Replace the emotional habit with something sustainable. Walk, journal, call a friend, listen to music, create something. You don't just need fewer swipes, you need better soothing tools. Build emotional financial boundaries. Create a feelings budget, a set monthly amount for emotional spending. No guilt, but no overflow. Name your spending triggers: loneliness, stress, comparison. Catch them early. Unfollow spending triggers online: influencers, lifestyle porn, fake success stories. The man who knows his weakness can build his strength. Kalabab. Redefine what you deserve. You don't deserve a new bag. You deserve peace. You deserve options. You deserve sleep without anxiety. You deserve a bank account that reflects your discipline, not your dopamine. The real treat isn't a new outfit. It's being able to say, I don't need this. I want something bigger than this feeling, and walking away in power. Final thought before next reason. You're not weak. You're not broken. You're not bad with money. You're just using money to fix problems it was never designed to fix. And when you learn to feel without spending, that's when your wealth journey truly begins. More is the enemy. Why you keep earning more and staying just as broke. If I could just make a little more. You've said it. Maybe last month, maybe last year, maybe last week when the rent went up again. If I could just earn a little more, things would be fine. But here's the truth. You did earn more. A raise, a new job, a bonus, a side hustle. And yet, you're still broke. Why? Because more money doesn't fix bad money habits. The lifestyle creep. There's a name for this trap. Lifestyle inflation. Here's how it works. You earn $3,000. You live on $3,000. Then you earn $4,000. You live on $4,000. Then $5,000. You upgrade again. New car, nicer clothes, more dining out, more convenience, more entertainment, more deserved rewards. And suddenly, no matter how much you make, you're still living paycheck to paycheck. More becomes the new enough, and enough never arrives. The more you make, the more you spend trap. Making more feels like winning. You feel safer, more successful, more secure. So you allow more leeway. But here's what actually happens. You expand your spending faster than your income. You stop tracking because you think you can afford it. You mistake earning power for wealth when it's really just income. You become the man who owns a $1,000 suit and $17 in his account. High income, not high net worth. It's shocking but true. Many six-figure earners live month to month. Some millionaires drive 10-year-old cars. Most lottery winners go broke in 5 years. Some janitors die with million-dollar portfolios. Why? Because wealth is not about how much you make. It's about how much you keep, grow, and control. More is not the solution. Discipline is. More feels like freedom, but often brings a new cage. With every raise, promotion, or bonus comes temptation. I can finally get that apartment. I deserve that phone upgrade. It's time I enjoyed life a little. But if you're not careful, your new income becomes a new mortgage, a new lease, a new credit card limit, a new set of expectations. And you're not more free, you're more trapped, just in prettier chains. What's really behind the more mentality? At the root of more will fix it thinking is this belief: I don't need to change, I just need more. But the truth? More magnifies who you already are. If you're undisciplined, more money gives you more ways to destroy it. If you're reactive, more income gives you more emotional spending power. If you're unstructured, more dollars just accelerate chaos. That's why some people stay poor at 50K and some become rich at 30K. You're upgrading lifestyle, not life. Buying a better mattress isn't the same as sleeping better. Upgrading to a newer car isn't the same as owning peace. Living in a high-rise doesn't mean you've risen internally. If your spending increases with every promotion, you're not building wealth. You're just building illusions. Kalabab said, "He who drinks more wine but stores no grain shall starve while celebrating." Translation: joy without structure becomes ruin. How to break the more cycle? 1. Set a lifestyle cap. Decide, I will live on no more than X% of my income, no matter how much I make. Start with 70%. As income grows, invest the difference. Don't absorb it. 2. Reward yourself once, then automate discipline. When you earn more, take 10% for enjoyment, take 20% for saving or investing, freeze the rest in automation. Discipline isn't about deprivation, it's about prioritization. 3. Create a no more lifestyle creep rule. Before any upgrade, ask, does this actually increase my freedom, or is it just feeding my ego? If it doesn't compound your peace, don't buy it. Final mindset shift. Don't chase more, chase mastery. Because the person who masters $2,000 will one day rule $20,000. But the person who needs $20,000 just to survive will be enslaved, no matter what they earn. Summary. You're not stuck because you don't make enough. You're stuck because your habits grow faster than your paychecks. More money doesn't solve money problems. It reveals them. Fix the root, and the fruit will follow. Living on autopilot. Why not having a plan is costing you everything. Are you in control or just along for the ride? You wake up, you go to work, you get paid, you pay the bills, you buy some stuff, you sleep, you repeat. You think you're making choices, but really, you're just responding to pressure, to deadlines, to whatever pops up next. There is no design, no intention, no direction. You're not broke because you're unlucky. You're broke because you're drifting. Drifting is the default. Most people don't fail because of bad decisions. They fail because they make no decisions at all. They never set goals, never create budgets, never track progress, never define success, never question habits. They live on autopilot and wonder why they keep crashing. The cost of not having a financial plan. Here's what happens when you don't have a plan. You spend what feels right. You save what's left, if anything. You react to emergencies instead of preparing for them. You work hard but don't know what it's leading to. You confuse busy with productive. You live in survival mode even when your income improves. Without a plan, you're not building a future. You're just experiencing the present over and over again. The silent trap. I'll figure it out later. This is the lie we tell ourselves. I'm just too busy right now. Next year, I'll get serious. When I make more, I'll sit down and organize things. But later becomes never. Years go by. Debt piles up. Opportunities are missed. And one day you realize you've worked for decades and have nothing to show for it. Not because you were lazy, but because you were directionless. Kalababa said, "A ship without a map may ride the waves, but it shall never reach port." The difference a plan makes. A plan gives your money a job. It gives your time a purpose. It gives your life a direction. Without it, you're not making choices. You're just reacting to life as it hits you. Imagine showing up to a battlefield without a strategy. That's how most people enter adulthood financially. You don't have to know everything. You just have to stop pretending that winging it will get you anywhere. What a simple financial plan looks like. It's not complicated. You don't need a degree in finance. You just need to answer a few questions. What do I truly want? Freedom? Security? Choice? When do I want it? 5 years? 10 years? What will it take to get there? Monthly saving goals, debt payoff timeline, investment schedule. How will I track it? Weekly reviews, budget apps, accountability partners. If you can answer those 4 things, you're already ahead of 90% of people. How to stop drifting and start driving. Checkmark 1. Set a money meeting with yourself every week. 15 minutes, no excuses. Track, review, adjust, focus. Checkmark 2. Create a 1-year financial vision. Not a vague wish, a written target. For example, by this time next year, I will have $5,000 in savings, $2,000 less in debt, and a side income of $300 per month. Checkmark 3. Use systems, not willpower. Budget apps, auto transfers, spending limits. The more automated your plan, the less you need discipline. Checkmark 4. Check alignment weekly. Every expense, decision, and activity, ask, is this moving me toward my plan or away from it? If it's not helping, it's hurting. You can't control the world, but you can control your plan. Life is unpredictable. Emergencies happen. Markets shift. Jobs end. But when you have a plan, you recover faster. You make smarter choices under pressure. You stop panicking because you've already thought it through. It's not about controlling everything. It's about refusing to float aimlessly. Final thoughts. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to wake up. Because drifting costs more than dollars. It costs time, energy, opportunities, and peace of mind. And if you don't decide what you want, someone else will decide for you. Kalababa said, "A man who plans may still fail, but a man who drifts is already failing." It's just how life works, right? Credit card bills, student loans, auto payments, buy now, pay later purchases, mortgages that eat half your income. You look around and think, everyone's doing it. This must be normal. But here's the truth. Just because it's common doesn't mean it's safe. Just because it's accepted doesn't mean it's not killing your freedom. Debt has become so normal, we've stopped questioning it. We've confused access with affordability. And in doing so, we've traded future peace for present convenience. Debt is a drug, and society is addicted. Think about it. You can get a $40,000 car with zero down. You can go to college without understanding the loan you signed. You can own a brand new iPhone today and pay for it next year. You can decorate your house with money you haven't earned. Debt lets you skip the wait and pay the price later. But later always comes, and when it does, it brings interest, stress, regret, lost opportunities. Kalabob said, "The man who borrows to feast today shall hunger twice tomorrow." The debt-poverty cycle. Here's the silent loop. You borrowed to buy, you pay minimums to survive, you limit savings because of payments, you borrow again when emergencies hit, you stay stuck, not poor by income, but by obligation. It's not your job that's keeping you poor, it's your payments. Debt steals from every future goal. Every dollar you send to a lender is a dollar you can't invest, you can't save, you can't use to build your dream, you can't give to your kids, you can't use to buy back your time. It's the great invisible thief of freedom. You feel like you're moving forward, but you're running on a treadmill built by banks. But isn't good debt a thing? Yes, there's a difference between productive debt, real estate, business, controlled investments, and consumer debt, shopping, lifestyle, short-term gratification. But let's be honest, most people are drowning in the bad kind and calling it normal. That just one card becomes 5. That 0% interest becomes 29% overnight. That student loan becomes a 20-year prison. That car becomes worthless before you finish paying for it. The chains of debt are too small to notice until they're too strong to break. Why you think debt is okay? Because you were trained to believe you need debt to build credit, you'll never own a home without it, everyone has loans, it's just part of life, you're not in trouble if you can still make the payments. But the goal isn't to survive payments. The goal is to escape them forever. Debt was meant to be a tool. Instead, it became your master. How to break the debt trap. 1. List every debt you owe. Type, balance, interest rate, monthly payment. Seeing the total will shock you into awareness. Seeing the total will shock you into awareness. 2. Create a debt freedom date. Choose the month and year you will be free, then reverse engineer the plan. A dream without a deadline is a wish. 3. Use the snowball or avalanche method. Snowball, smallest balances first, builds momentum. Avalanche, highest interest first, saves more money. Choose the one you'll actually stick to. And 4, stop creating new debt, period. Cut up the cards, freeze the accounts, remove the temptation. You can't get out of a hole if you keep digging. Replace the lie with truth. Lie: debt gives me options. Truth: debt limits your options. Lie: I can manage it. Truth: you're being managed by it. Lie: it's normal. Truth: it's dangerous. Final thought. You are not broke because you don't earn enough. You are broke because too much of what you earn belongs to someone else. You don't need more income. You need more ownership of the income you already have. And that begins with saying, no more borrowing for things that don't build my future. Kalabob said, "He who owns nothing of his gold may still work, but he does not walk free." Fear keeps you poor. Why you never start, so you never escape. What if I lose it all? That's the thought that stops most people. Not laziness, not ignorance. Fear. Fear of failing. Fear of looking stupid. Fear of being judged. Fear of choosing the wrong path. Fear of wasting time. Fear of losing money. And so, they freeze. They delay. They talk, but don't move. They hope, but never act. You're not stuck because you don't know what to do. You're stuck because you're afraid to do it. Fear masquerades as logic. You tell yourself, now's not the right time. I need to learn more first. Maybe next year. I'll wait until things are stable. I just need to be 100% sure. But that's not strategy. That's fear wearing a suit. And fear in disguise is more dangerous than fear in plain sight. Because when fear feels rational, you think you're being smart, when you're really just staying stuck. The loop of fear-driven poverty. You fear making a mistake, so you don't act. Time passes. You see others moving ahead. You feel smaller. Your fear grows. You keep shrinking. And before long, you're not just broke financially, you're broke mentally. The cost of playing it safe. People think risk is dangerous, but comfort is the real killer. You avoid investing, miss years of compounding. You avoid applying, miss career leaps. You avoid asking, stay underpaid. You avoid creating, stay unknown. You avoid trying, stay invisible. Playing it safe is the most expensive decision you'll ever make. Kalabob said, "He who fears the wind shall never plant, and thus shall never harvest." The psychology behind it. Fear activates your amygdala, the part of your brain that screams, "Stay small, stay still, don't get hurt." It was useful when lions were chasing us, but now it's ruining your finances. The modern world rewards action, not avoidance. You're being punished not for doing the wrong thing, but for doing nothing at all. Every successful person felt fear and moved anyway. The investor who lost money but learned. The entrepreneur who launched and failed. The speaker who stuttered on stage. The first-time buyer who risked rejection. The creator who posted with 0 followers. They all felt fear, but they didn't let fear make the final decision. And that's the difference. Not courage without fear, but movement despite fear. How to break the fear trap. Shrink the first step. Don't invest $10,000. Invest $10. Don't start a business. Sell one thing. Make it so small that fear loses its grip. Schedule action, not just intention. Fear feeds on vague plans. Clarity kills it. Set a time, date, place. Write it down. Show up scared. Talk to your fear, then move past it. Literally ask, what am I afraid of? What's the worst that could happen? If I fail, then what? Most fears dissolve when exposed to light. Flip the fear. Don't ask, what if I fail? Ask, what if I succeed? What if I stay here forever? What if nothing changes? That second fear, the one of wasting your life, should be bigger than the fear of losing a little money or pride. Final truth. You won't outrun fear, but you can walk beside it and still move. Wealth does not require fearlessness. It requires action in the presence of fear. Kalabob said, A man who waits for certainty waits for poverty. Hard work does not equal smart money. Why effort alone will never make you rich. But I work so hard. You wake up early. You stay late. You say yes. You show up. You sacrifice. You sweat. You grind. And yet, you're still broke, still stressed, still stuck. And deep down, you whisper to yourself, "This isn't fair." You're right. But here's the hard truth. Hard work is noble, but alone it is not enough. Not anymore. You were taught the wrong equation. You were raised to believe hard work equals wealth. That if you just work hard enough, the doors will open, the freedom will come, the money will show up. But that formula is broken. Why? Because in today's world, janitors work hard, nurses work hard, waiters work hard, single moms work harder than anyone, and yet they're barely surviving. Meanwhile, algorithms make millions, lazy rich kids inherit empires, influencers sell air and live in mansions. The game has changed, and if you don't adapt, you'll keep sweating for someone else's wealth. The cycle of effort without strategy. You work harder, you get a small raise, your expenses rise, you get more exhausted, you have less time to learn. You work harder again. It's a loop, and you're the hamster. Kalabab said, "He who labors endlessly but plans nothing digs a deep hole with no ladder." The real equation of wealth. Hard work plus strategy plus leverage equals wealth. Let's break that down. 1. Hard work. Yes, it matters, but only as the foundation. 2. Strategy. Are you learning how money works? Are you tracking where your time goes? Are you building long-term assets or just surviving? 3. Leverage. Are you using tools, teams, technology? Is your money working for you while you sleep? Can your efforts scale beyond your body? If not, you're not building wealth. You're just burning calories. What hard work alone cannot do. It cannot multiply. It cannot scale. It cannot protect you when you're tired, sick, or injured. It cannot buy back lost time. It cannot build generational wealth. Because your time is limited, your energy is limited, your life is limited. But systems are not. Assets are not. Compound interest is not. You cannot hustle your way to freedom. You must build your way there. Why we stay in the hard work trap? Because it's familiar, because we were raised on it, because we admire effort more than wisdom. But comfort does not equal growth, and pride does not equal progress. You don't get extra points for struggling. You don't earn freedom just by being tired. You earn it by being intentional. How to shift from hard work to smart money. Ask, where's most of my effort going? Is it scalable? Is it strategic? If it doesn't build future value, it's just busy work. Learn one wealth skill. Pick one. Investing, digital creation, marketing, sales, negotiation, systems building. Mastery becomes more than effort. Build leverage. Money, make it work while you sleep. People, delegate, collaborate. Tools, automate what you repeat. The more you leverage, the more your time becomes exponential, not linear. You're not failing because you don't work hard. You're failing because hard work without direction is a treadmill, not a road. You don't need to grind more. You need to grow smarter. Kalabab said, "A donkey may carry gold, but he shall never own it." You were not born to carry the load. You were born to design the system. Impressing the wrong audience. Why trying to look rich is making you poor. What will they think? You scroll. You see it all. Luxury vacations, flashy cars, designer bags, perfect apartments, the illusion of success, and something inside whispers, I should have that too. I need to look like I'm winning. So you buy, you upgrade, you stretch, you post, and for a moment, you feel like you belong. But when the likes fade and the bill arrives, you realize you traded real freedom for fake applause. We don't want money, we want validation. Most people don't truly want wealth. They want to look rich. Because looking rich brings attention, praise, belonging, significance, protection from judgment. But it's all surface, and it costs more than you realize. The lie that keeps you poor. Here's the modern trap. If I look successful, I'll become successful. But that's backward. Looking rich without being rich isn't progress, it's pressure. You start living a life designed for strangers. You drive a car you can't afford. You live in a place that drains your income. You wear a lifestyle, not a plan, all because of people you barely know or people you don't even like. Kalabalabid said, "The man who dresses for the crowd forgets who he truly is, and soon forgets what he truly owns." The cycle of image-driven poverty. You feel insecure, you spend to impress. You receive approval. You feel better, briefly. The cycle returns, and with each loop, you're poorer, not just in money, but in identity. You're not building your life, you're renting an illusion. Real rich look boring. Real wealth isn't flashy, it's quiet, calm, focused. The millionaire next door wears jeans. The investor drives a Toyota. The entrepreneur reinvests instead of flexing. The wealthy woman walks past the sale. Why? Because they've stopped performing. They know what really matters: freedom, time, options, legacy. You can impress people, or you can be free. Rarely both. How to break the need to impress. A. Audit your spending for ego triggers. Go through your last 30 purchases. Ask, was this for my future or my followers? Be brutally honest. B. Unfollow the noise. Mute, unfollow, delete whatever triggers insecurity. Your mind is your most valuable asset. Protect it. C. Create a why I'm building wealth statement. Something real, raw, yours. Example, I want to retire my parents. I want to buy back my time. I want peace at night, not debt. I want my children to never beg. Keep it where you see it daily. That's who you should be impressing. Build identity around freedom, not fashion. Every time you say no to the need to impress, you say yes to future you, peace of mind, long-term wealth, ownership of your life. Kalabalabid said, "The man who walks humbly in rags but owns gold is richer than the man who sparkles but borrows every jewel." Final thought. You weren't born to be admired. You were born to be free. So stop performing. Stop pretending. Stop polishing your image while your soul is starving. Choose freedom, even if it's quiet, even if it's not glamorous, because one day, those who mocked your simplicity will ask how you did it, and you'll say, I stopped trying to impress the wrong people. Procrastination, the hidden thief. Why you keep waiting and losing. I'll start tomorrow. That's what you said yesterday, and the day before that, and last month, and last year. But tomorrow never showed up, because procrastination is the only thief that doesn't steal with force. It steals with comfort. It whispers, "You've got time," and then silently takes it all away. The lie you keep believing. You tell yourself, "I'll save when I make more. I'll invest once I feel ready. I'll create a plan when life slows down. I'll figure it out next month." But here's the brutal truth. You're not waiting for the right time. You're avoiding discomfort. And while you wait, the cost compounds. The real cost of delay. Every year you delay, your savings shrink from inflation, your debt grows in interest, your confidence erodes, your habits deepen, your dreams drift further away. You lose money, you lose time, but worst of all, you lose momentum. And once momentum is gone, even starting feels impossible. Kalabhab said, "He who delays planting shall watch others harvest from the fields that were once his own." Why you procrastinate? It's not because you're lazy. It's because your brain is wired to avoid pain, even small discomforts. Thinking about finances equals stress. Looking at your debt equals shame. Starting a budget equals unfamiliar. Opening that investment app equals fear of doing it wrong. So your mind takes the easy way out. Avoid, distract, delay. But avoidance doesn't make the storm disappear. It just makes it grow stronger. The loop of later. You feel overwhelmed. You put it off. You feel guilty. You feel stuck. You avoid again. You stay broke. You don't need more money. You need to break the cycle. The numbers don't lie. If you invest $100 a month starting at 25 to $500K by retirement, if you wait until 35, less than $250K. If you wait until 45, under $100K. Waiting costs millions over a lifetime. Not because you didn't earn enough, but because you started too late. How to break procrastination for real. A+1. Make it ridiculously easy to start. Don't create a perfect budget. Just track today, one day. Don't build a 5-year plan. Just write what you want 1 year from now. Progress begins when perfection ends. A+2. Set a timer. 15 minutes. That's it. Work on a single financial task, reviewing expenses, opening an investment account, canceling a subscription. Fear shrinks when faced. A+3. Set a micro deadline. Don't say, "I'll do it someday." Say, "By 8 p.m. today, I will X." Then do it scared. Do it imperfect, but do it. The regret that hurts most. It's not the regret of losing money. It's the regret of never starting. The slow, suffocating sadness of wasted potential. You'll look back and think, "I could have been free. I could have been ahead, but I kept waiting." Kalabhab said, "Time is the coin most men spend without thought, and then beg for in their final days." Final message before the next reason. The best time to start was 10 years ago. The second best time is right now. Not tomorrow, not after this video, now. Because action breaks fear, and action builds momentum, and momentum is how you escape. Comfortable misery. Why you're addicted to struggle, even when you want freedom. I hate this, but I'm used to it. It's not that you don't want freedom. It's not that you don't want peace. It's not that you don't want change. It's that you've learned to live in pain so well that it feels like home. You hate being broke, but it's familiar. You hate the debt, the stress, the uncertainty, but you know how to survive in it. And that's the problem. You've built your identity around struggle. The prison you decorated. At first, being broke was painful, but over time you made it normal. You got used to saying, "I can't afford it." You laughed off the bounce charges. You made peace with the anxiety before payday. You accepted that this is just how it is. And slowly, you began to equate discomfort with reality. Misery became manageable, not because it got better, but because you got numb. The real reason you haven't changed. It's not lack of knowledge, not lack of money, not even fear. It's comfort with your pain. The known pain feels safer than the unknown promise, because struggle is predictable, freedom is not. Kalabab said, "A man may live in chains so long that he forgets the sky ever existed." You've stopped looking up because your cage has curtains now, a routine, a story, an excuse. The loop of comfortable misery. You're unhappy. You dream of more. You take one step. It feels unfamiliar. You retreat. You tell yourself, "This isn't so bad." You stay. And that loop is your life. Until one day you call survival success. The cost of staying here. Comfortable misery robs you of years you can't get back, dreams you never pursue, confidence you never develop, wealth you never create, a life you never fully live. You don't just lose money, you lose you. The shift you must make. Stop asking, "Will this be easy?" Start asking, "Will this be worth it?" Because yes, freedom will be uncomfortable. Yes, building wealth will challenge you. Yes, creating change will break you open. But comfort never made anyone free. And struggle doesn't prove strength, only acceptance. How to break the cycle of comfortable misery. 1. Call it what it is. Stop romanticizing survival. Stop calling struggle strength. Say it. I am not okay with this anymore. 2. Choose one discomfort today. Make the call. Open the statement. Say no. Say yes. Break the routine. Change begins when comfort is interrupted. 3. Remind yourself daily, "I deserve more." Not because of ego, but because you were not born to suffer. Write it, speak it, live it. Final words from the ancient world. Kalabab said, "A man who accepts chains will never seek a key, but a man who weeps at night for freedom has already begun to unlock the door." So I ask you, are you done surviving? Are you done pretending this is fine? Are you done being comfortably miserable? Then stand up. And don't wait to feel ready. You'll never feel ready. You start because you're tired. You continue because you believe. You finish because you refuse to die in a cage. Reclaiming your power and rewriting your future. You've reached the end, or have you? You've just walked through 10 brutal truths. Not easy truths, not soft truths, but the kind of truths that hit you in the gut and say, "Wake up." Because staying broke is not just about the numbers. It's about beliefs, habits, stories, fears, silence, delay. And now that you've seen them, You can never unsee them. Mental recap. Let's remember what's really been holding you back. It wasn't your job. It wasn't your salary. It wasn't your background. It was the silent drain you never tracked, the emotional spending you mistook for self-care, the lie that more money would fix it, the life on autopilot with no plan, the debt you called normal, the fear that kept you frozen, the hustle without wisdom, the obsession with appearances, the delay that became your routine, the comfort that masked your misery. 10 reasons, 10 chains, and now 10 keys. Because once you name the pattern, you have the power to break it. You are not your past. It doesn't matter how many mistakes you made, how deep your debt is, how long you've waited, how old you are, how scared you feel. What matters is what you do next. Today is not too late. You are not too far gone. And change does not require perfection, only decision. Your life begins when you decide it does. You don't need permission. You don't need a raise. You don't need someone to come save you. You just need to stop waiting, stop numbing, stop rehearsing your pain, and start. Start tracking. Start learning. Start building. Start believing. You have time. You have breath. You have this moment. That's all you need. From struggle to strategy. From stuck to free. Wealth is not about numbers. It's about control. And control begins with clarity. You don't have to be rich to act rich in discipline. You don't have to know everything to start learning something. You don't have to be fearless to move forward. You just have to move anyway. Caleb said, "The man who plants today may not eat tomorrow, but one day he shall feed nations." Final words. If this video stirred something in you, it's not by accident. Because deep down, you know, this is not the life you were meant for. This is not your final form. This is not where your story ends. So say it with me. I'm done surviving. I'm done waiting. I'm done with broke. I choose clarity. I choose courage. I choose change. And starting now, I choose me.